Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another groundbreaking episode of EdUp Career Schools, The Scoop, with your host, K.A.T. Today is going to be a very special episode because we are talking about our campus presidents. Not only do they wear multiple hats, they have to keep a lot of different teams together playing nice in the sandbox while still trying to encourage and inspire a student body to finish what they started. So who better to walk us through this conversation than Mr. Billy Kidd? Okay, Billy is actually the campus president with Northwest Lineman College. So let's welcome Billy. Welcome, Billy. How are you doing over there?
I'm doing fantastic, Kathy. It's Friday. We had a great week, and what a great way to end the week. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And so, Billy, let me ask you this. I always start off by asking the same question because the responses are random. Okay, so how did you begin your journey in higher education?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been in the craft industry for around 24 years, and I come from a really humble background, very small town of around 90 people. And we had 8-man football, one paved road, and there wasn't a lot of options coming out of high school for someone like me because I wasn't, the smartest in my class, and wasn't the fastest and best looking, which is very obvious. But what I did want to do is I wanted to maybe go into the military, and so I looked into that, and I found out I was partially colorblind, and so that gave me some restrictions on what jobs I could do in the military. And so I started looking into the trades, and I found the natural gas trade, and I got a job being a laborer for a pipeline company, a contractor. And I worked my way up to a meter reader, which I made 19 cents a meter, read gas and electric meters. Back then that still wasn't a lot of money, but you could read, I don't know, about 100 meters an hour, and that would be about $20. So $20 an hour, and it kept me in shape, of course. Walked about 13 miles a day, but eventually, with hard work, networking, and things like that, I built myself up to a journeyman gas worker, supervisor, and once I did that, I worked for utility and contractors for about 12 or 15 years, and felt like I had mastered my trade, and I was looking for something new, and I found Northwest Lineman College, and they were building out a gas college, career school for gas workers, and then organizations, utilities, and contractors could hire my students and give back to the trade there. So did a working interview with Northwest Lineman College, started as a trainer, helped build the natural gas program here at NLC. And then I moved up to a training lead and a supervisor. And then eventually I ran for campus president about 2 years ago. And now I am overseeing operations, facilities, and education on our electric line worker program and our line worker apprenticeship program. So long journey of 24 years. And of course, there was more in between that. A lot of mistakes were made, a lot of things that happened, but overall I came out strong, and here I sit.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. What do you find most invigorating about your role right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, I really like the chance to help develop others. I've had mentors and been a mentee throughout my career. I've had good leaders, not so good leaders, and I've learned from both of them. And so I try to develop people off of real testimonies that I've went through. But probably my favorite part is when our students come to Northwest Lineman College, their first day, they're nervous. They're not sure what to expect. We do orientation. We set the guidelines and get them excited about the next 15 weeks. And then we go through the 15 weeks and we build this bond with the students. We do like career planning and strategy with them. They have coursework, they have lab, they have field competencies. And then at the end of the 15 weeks, they go through a lineman rodeo where they compete with their crewmates and their family and friends and companies that want to hire them, show up and support them. And we have balloon artists and vendors and a DJ and our students climb up the pole and hang the American flag and the NLC flag. Our veterans do that, so that's cool. But then they go out and they get hired based off maybe our career fair that we have during term. And then they have to call back. You know about employment verifications, right? And so we call and find out if what we've done that 15 weeks has helped them get employed and give them stability in their future for them and their family, and making them phone calls and giving them testimonies of them students that have went out there, got a stable career, their family, they know they're going to be taken care of no matter what, and that they're in something that will give them a long and rewarding career and not just a job. I'll tell you what, it'll really give you goosebumps if you think about it. And you would think every 15 weeks, you would get used to that. You still get emotional. You get still students. It's still a brotherhood. It's still a sisterhood. And that's what's my favorite part about what I do, is giving back.
That's awesome. So we know that you're definitely here for the right reasons. That's what has kept me attached to higher education for over 17 years myself, because of the end result. And you said something very important: testimony. Students learn and they're inspired by other people's testimonies. It's one thing to talk about how amazing your school is, and it's another thing for a student to actually see someone who has been through exactly what they're going through now, for them to say, well, if they can do it, that means that there's still hope for me. Well,
I'm glad you touched on that, because me coming from a small town, I've went and got my education traditionally, but I'm a tradesman at heart, of course. But the cool thing is that story I told you, how I got into higher education, that means anybody can do it. I'm no different than anybody. I'm not special. I just work hard. And that means if I can be in this fancy jacket in front of you, they can. And see, our instructors are journeyman linemen and professional educators. Okay. And when I start orientation, I always look at the students and I go, do you guys wish you could see the future? And they're like, yeah, of course. I said, well, you can't. Okay, no one can see the future. And I said, if I could or you could, we wouldn't be sitting here today. But
exactly,
I said, right? I said, but the closest thing to it is these instructors that surround you. That's your future. I said, 4 of them that are standing here in front of you are alumni from Northwest Lyman College. So they went to school, they sat in your seat as an ELP student, went out, got some experience, and now they're back here giving back. Went from journeyman linemen, apprenticeships, to now they're professional educators. And talk about a cool story, right?
Absolutely. So as a campus president, now, as I mentioned earlier, you wear a lot of hats. You have a lot on your plate. You have multiple departments that you have to inspire. So what are some of the daily challenges that you face in your role? Because I know there's a lot of new campus presidents out there who are pulling out the little hair that they have left and they're like, I need help.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, if you let anything get to you, it will. But me and my team focus on controlling what we can control, right? There's different departments within a college, well, admissions, you have operations, you have education, you have maintenance, you have leadership, you have C-suite, you have the Department of Education. I mean, the list goes on. So control what we can control. And what I like to call them is really not challenges. I really like to call them learning opportunities, learning moments, because I just had a meeting with my team today as we build out a team here. And I said, things will slip through the cracks, and that's okay, right? The students usually don't know if something slips through the cracks, and we're going to learn from that. We're going to take it, and we're going to build some training off of it. And guess what? Next term, we're going to do even better for our students. I think one of the learning moments that we've had and I've had is we are an education facility, right? We're a career school for power linemen. Now, how do you balance the education and the business? Because it is a business too. So we like to say you got to balance the B and the E. So without a healthy business, you don't have benchmark education.
Mm-hmm.
But without, benchmark education, you don't have first choice students, and then you don't have a business. So I would say one of the most important part of my job, but besides development, is making sure that I have a pulse on the business and education piece of it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I'm so happy that you said that, because I think that's where a lot of people are missing the boat. It's either this is a business, so we need students in order to grow, but then most importantly, they forget about the people.
Yeah.
You don't have a business without people. And I think one of the major aspects or traits of a leader is being able to encourage, inspire, but then most importantly, have empathy for the people that work for you.
Yeah.
You know?
You said it, empathy, right? Something that I think lacks in most organizations these days is, I would say, empathy. We say soft skills. I like to call them human skills. We have all the technical skills in the world,
Mhm.
but we don't know how to treat people. We don't have emotional intelligence and things like that. So that's something else, during the students' time here at our campus. We don't just teach them the technical side, we teach them the behavior side of, how do you get hired? Yeah, technical, of course, but anybody can teach you that. But we want to teach you to be a respectful human being and go out there and be someone the world looks up to.
Absolutely. And students have to understand that a lot of employers are willing to hire someone with soft skills and then teach them the technical part. Because no one wants someone who's excellent at what they do, but they have a terrible attitude, because that can also make or break, your company or your organization. So when it comes to managing different teams, all right, first off, we have financial aid, we have admissions, we have academics, you went down the line, right? How do you keep them encouraged and inspired every day?
So we as a team, we do a lot of different things, and I'll get to that. But
Mhm.
to be honest, when I walk in the door or when I drive down this driveway behind me and I see the instructors here early or the operations team here early working on resumes or doing climbing with the students, because at that point, their salary, so they're doing that on their own time. I'll tell you what, when I come and I see that Texas sun, they got great sunsets and sunrises. And I seen that sunrise and I see them instructors out there working with our students before they have to. That's motivation for me, which sets the pace for the positivity of that day. And so, really, it comes down to my team motivating me. Now, some things I do, of course, as a leader is we celebrate our wins, right? If there's any type of failure on this campus, it's
Mhm.
me. And if it's wins, it's the campus, right? That's leadership. And they know that. And we definitely have more wins than we don't. But we'll celebrate them. We'll highlight them. We'll do barbecues. We go on fishing trips. We go to Top Golf. We went on Bonnie and Clyde tours. We went to the Texas Rangers game. Um, and then there's other things we do. We have things like surprise and delight, where if we see an employee going above and beyond or something, maybe we give them a free weekend at Great Wolf Lodge or something without them knowing. So it's pretty magical to see that, because they don't see it coming and they don't
Mhm.
expect it. That's the good thing,
Yeah.
right? And it's authentic. It's not just, hey, we're just doing this to check the box and say, hey, we're being motivated and we're being
Mhm.
inspiring. They work hard during the week. We're going to play hard when we can.
I love that. You know what? I keep smiling because I talk a lot about leadership, and what's going on at your campus. You do know that actually showcases that you are an amazing leader. I always say that when it comes to leadership, leaders have a team that consists of people who want to go the extra mile because they want to, not because they have to, because they need to earn a paycheck to support themselves and their family. When you talk about people coming in early or probably staying behind and they're not getting paid for it, that means that they believe that you have their best interest at hand and they're willing to go the extra mile, not only for you, but for the students, which is who matters.
We have instructors and staff
Mhm.
that probably wouldn't even have to work. They've been out in the trades, and as you know,
Yeah.
career schools, trades, and stuff, you can make very good money. It's hard work, of course, but they probably wouldn't even have to be here. They do it just for the students. And I talked about them coming in early, but they stay late. We have one instructor that he does a Zoom study session every Wednesday, and I tell you, the students appreciate that. And with my team, we use this phrase, and it's not the first time you've heard it, but a three-legged stool of operations, facilities, and education, right? Well, we're sturdy when we work together. If one of those legs are broke, the other two are going to fall. So, it really comes down to being honest and having open communication and being very transparent with the teams, not just where we're good at, but also things where we need to work on it.
There you go. There you go. So it looks like you have a very tight-knit team. Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's one thing that a lot of schools would want to learn from you. Financial aid historically and admissions, they don't always play nice in the sandbox. Okay. There's always some type of friction there. And a lot of times I think it's because admissions is not well-versed or informed in financial aid and vice versa. So if you don't understand each other's roles, sometimes that can cause for some walls to be put up. So how do you keep those two teams in synergy?
Well, one goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, empathy, right? Understanding what someone else is going through and what their job is. Because at the end of the day, admissions is the first impression a student gets of us, besides, our website and things like that they go to. But once they meet our admission folks and they do a tour with us, it just speaks for itself. The quality of education you're going to get. Our admission teams is well-versed. They even come to our campus and they will shadow our instructors and our coursework so they understand what the student will go through. They know the prereqs of what a student needs to be successful to be a graduate of Northwest Lyman College. They'll tell them what to study, to have hand strength, to get in shape. And then something else we do is campuses and admissions, they talk all the time. We'll have pre-meetings with our students, admissions, our vendors, and our operational team and educational team to meet with the students, be collaborative, and be saying the same message to our students. That way there's clarity across the board. So I'm being humble here, but I guess NLC's got it figured out because we got a kick butt admissions team.
And I believe you. One thing that you said that was very important is clarity, right? Because anytime I'm talking to admissions, I try to get them to understand that even though you're at the front end, you have to think about every other team member. How is financial aid going to be able to package this student? Can you picture your instructors teaching this person, right? Is career services going to be pulling their hair out trying to place these people, right? So everything has to stop at the admissions team. And I really think that they have one of the most critical roles because nothing should get past admissions. Well, some students, they do start and go left, but
if you think about it, they're the legs that hold the body up, right? The college. The Maroons, the instructors, they're the spine of the company, right? The journeyman linemen. We can't do it without each other. So I'm really glad you mentioned that because, we always want to put our students first. And with that kind of mindset, and I think something that separates us a little bit too, I know I'm jumping a little bit, is we really want our students to have a long, rewarding career. We want them to be successful initial hire. Recruitment. We also want them to be successful in any future training because once you leave our pre-apprentice, you're going to continue apprenticeship out with an organization you go with. So it all plays in each other's hand and we're all one big team here. So.
Absolutely. And you touched on it because we always talk about being student-centered or having a student-first mindset. And I think sometimes the term may be so overused that people become numb to it. And then it comes to a point where people are like, well, what does that even mean anymore? You know, so in your opinion, what does it mean to be student centered?
Well, I think it goes back to one of our ethos statements here at Northwest
Mm-hmm.
Lineman College is we're going to do what's best for the student. And education is our business. You see that B&E, education is our business. It's like, what's that mean? Well, unless you live it and you find that balance, you really don't know. But we're always going to put our student first. And, you know, something that we do to keep that is we have student councils, safety councils, something really cool. And it just happened today. I'm not kidding you. We don't start until 7:30, 8 o'clock here on campus.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, have a leadership team text, you know, in case someone, you know, needs PTO or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But I get one today, and it is a picture of students on their day off, because today, Fridays, they don't go to school here. They go 4 days a week.
Uh-huh.
And they're out front here meeting, and they're taking a picture, and they're fixing to go out to the nursing homes in our community, and they're going to be painting the fences and doing some upkeep on those facilities. So a couple things with that is, one, we know they're going to go out there and make a good wage, right? Power linemen make great wages. They work hard, they earn it, and they get paid well for it. But the behavior side of that is, are you giving back to your community without expecting something in return?
Mm-hmm.
And those students that showed up today are first choice students that are going to go out there and be your next leaders, because they have a growth mindset of it's not all about me. It's bigger than one person. We're needed out there, and we're going to give back. So that's just a cool part that we do. And then also we have student presidents. And so they get to lead their respected groups.
I love that.
And so if there's something going on throughout the campus, like you said, there's always a little something going on. We've empowered them to try to mend that, or be the binder between my team and the students, and see if they can, you know, bind it together, maybe put a stop to it or elevate it, however it may be. And I'll tell you what, those presidents that do that in the Student and Safety Council, they come out so mature. They're the ones that are going to be the future leaders. They can put them on their resumes, and it's not just to check the box, because we're a testimony of the things they do to move that many students in one direction. You're going to be able to move a 4-person crew out in the field very easy if you can move that many students.
Exactly. Is there anything else that you do for the students? I know some campuses, they would do like breakfast or brunch, you know, for student appreciation and stuff like that. Is there anything in particular that you do for student appreciation?
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll have a grill out for the students, and maybe hamburgers or hot dogs. The term that's lucky enough to be on campus for Lineman Appreciation Day, which is April 18th. A lot of people don't know that, but it's April 18th. We bring in all kinds of vendors. We do a big special meal. I usually have a gift for all the journeyman linemen. We bring in our lineman apprenticeship program students, and we just celebrate linemen across the United States. And so, yes, we do that kind of stuff. Also, if we do a campus get together, like we did a fried a turkey for Thanksgiving and different things like that, the students that may be on campus still, if it's a Friday or something, we'll of course invite them in, and they're just part of the family, you know. We don't fraternize with our students, but you know, we definitely treat them just like we would any customer.
You would be surprised how much just giving a student a candy bar makes a huge difference. You know, when I was working out of a campus, sometimes we used to just go around to each classroom with like an orange and a water, just saying, we appreciate you and we love you. You know, you're going to be successful. And you would be shocked how grateful these students were just to receive a little bubble water and an apple and an orange.
Yeah,
because you were thinking about us.
You brought up something. It's funny you say that, because a couple of things that we do is during the summer in Texas, it gets hot. I mean, it's just hot. And so we'll pay for the snow cone little driver to come around, and we'll give free snow cones to the students, or we'll have popsicles, and we'll go out there and hand them out, or course quenchers and stuff like that. Cause you could imagine the energy these guys are burning, going up and down these poles and using this equipment.
I love that. Look, I can tell that your students have an amazing time. It's an amazing experience because that's what's very important. And you are one of the schools that I've spoken to where just listening to their journey, I can tell if I was a student, the experience, which is very important, would be amazing. It would be groundbreaking. So where do you see the future of career education?
So, there is a balance with traditional college, right? There's a place for that, but I don't think there's any more of a better time to get in a career college, a trade school, as I like to call it, because there's such a shortage in all trades, but especially the power line trade. And as our assets across the United States age, we don't have enough power linemen to go out and do the work, right? And we don't have enough that have CDLs. We don't have enough that have crane certifications. Well, you can get all that here at Northwest Lineman College. So I think the need is there. And when there's a need and you have a solution, then it's going to be successful. And then when you don't make it quality and you build it off quantity, or excuse me, vice versa. If you don't do quantity and you build it off quality, then it's going to work. And so I think if you're looking for a nice wage, stability, something where you won't go in debt for most of your life, you like working in groups, you like working in a brotherhood. If you were in the military and you like that vibe, you sort of adrenaline junkie, you like maybe going out there and working in inclement weather, working with your hands, seeing a project start from the beginning to the end. I think the trades are for you. And I got to tell you, right now, the trades need people. So I tell you, I just believe that in all my career, there's never been a time like right now where these career schools are needed more.
Absolutely. I agree. So I have one special question for you before we go. If you were to look back at yourself at the beginning of your career, is there any special advice you would offer to little Billy?
Yeah. Well, I told you I've made plenty of mistakes and I've learned from most, and then I've duplicated some. That's just part of life. And you know what? I think that's what makes us special as humans. So one, my mom's not alive anymore, but she used to always say this: pack your patience. So be patient, right? That's a big one. I still struggle with that.
All of us do.
But another one is be proactive and not reactive. Be kind, work hard, network, be respectful, be a sponge and learn, stay humble. I said it earlier, celebrate the wins.
That's important.
Yeah, I mean, really, because what happens is we get moving so fast that we're so worried about getting to the win. When's it going to happen? And we don't concentrate on the WIN, the win that just happened. So that's a big one for me, and I've struggled with that one too. Keep your family close. Don't work so hard you are not living, right? So those would be the things I would say, and probably the last thing is never give up, and remember it's bigger than one person. The world needs tradespeople.
I love that. And listen, even though that's what you're saying to your little self, I'm sure that a lot of our listeners were taking notes and they're like, you know what? A lot of this stuff I have to work on every single day in my daily life. How would students get started in your school if they were interested, Billy?
So, excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat, as you can see.
I hate that. It just never goes away either.
Yeah, so NLC has 4 campuses, Boise, Idaho, Oroville, California, Denton, Texas, and Edgewater, Florida. So do your homework on the school, understand it. To be a first choice student, you're going to want to understand what a power lineman does. You want to work on getting your learner's permit for your CDL. You're going to want to serve others, take the elective courses that are here. You're going to want to learn to work with your hands, love to work with your hands. I'm trying to think something else they can do is maybe get out there and watch a power lineman work, right? Talk to maybe alumni. There's plenty of pages where you can go on and see what power linemen do for sure. Always have a growth mindset, be adaptable, want to work in a group, get along with your peers. And I think the biggest thing is step out of your comfort zone and be confident in yourself and understand you're not going to come in here perfect, but you're going to come in here with a great attitude and a don't quit attitude. My team's going to give you the foundation and the structure, the structure to go out there and be the best that you can be and give back to the community and the power delivery trade.
Awesome. Look, Billy, this was an amazing conversation. I'm even encouraged. So I thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you'll be willing to come back. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too, Kathy. And I'll tell you, I'd welcome you to come do a tour on any of our campuses, maybe one that's a little closer, but you're welcome to come to Texas, and our students too, or people that are interested, come onto our campus and do a tour and see what the life of a student looks like. And then you can also go to lineman.edu and get to our webpage, and there's a lot of resources and catalogs there. So I just thank you for your time today, and I appreciate everything you do for higher education. And I look forward to all conversations, and hopefully we'll see somebody on our campuses that's seen this and say, hey, I seen you on that podcast with Kathy, and that'll be a great icebreaker for us to start a conversation.
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again, Billy, for joining us. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Until next time. I really hope that you enjoyed that episode. I have been working diligently to bring awareness to career schools. There's so much that they have to offer our students and our community. Every single role within the admissions process is critical, whether you're a part of the admissions team, financial aid, career services, academics, everyone deserves a voice. Admissions is the first point of contact for your school, so you want to ensure that you have a team who exudes confidence, passion, and a clear understanding of effective communication with our potential students. I totally understand the pain of missed class starts, low appointment and enrollment conversions, and this is why I created Next Level Admissions Training by Motivate with K.A.T. This platform is a step-by-step process, and it is going to train your new and tenured advisors in every single step of the enrollment process to ensure that our students are inspired and they're ready and prepared to start class. Admissions is not easy. It can be very challenging, but it's definitely worth it. So if you're ready to take your school to the next level, head on over to lessons.motivatewithkat.com and check out Next Level Admissions.